Okay, I'm running a little late. I haven't even cleaned up from earlier. I'm warming up my gloves right now. It's 24 degrees in the shop right now, so hopefully it'll warm up quick. We'll see what happens. See how it goes. I don't know what I'm gonna nap. Nope. But let me clean up while we're waiting. Yeah. All right. I should have prepared my tools ahead of time too, but I didn't. What's today? Monday. I guess we're gonna do a serious live stream today. The auction is going on, so I probably will check that from time to time if I remember. I should remember. So I'm going to clean up here while we're waiting for everyone to show. I'm not ready. So, not fully ready. I'll start napping here in a minute. Let's see. I got a lot of obsidian I could be napping. Yeah. I got obsidian, I've got glass, I've got rocks, I got samples of stuff. Can you read that? Let's see. Yeah, it's got. And I marred that up a little earlier. You might not be able to see all the letters exactly. All right, where are we? Let's start flintnapping this piece. Yeah, let's start with this. It's as good as any. All right, so this is a 2.8 ounce bopper. No, this is a 2.8 ounce. This is 3.8 ounce. Yeah. Okay, we got people. Let me put my glasses on so I can see who's in the chat. We have Ed Gould, Bushy, Fertile Joe. Everything's okay? Mike Tufts is here. Looks like solid boppers. Yeah, solid copperhead boppers. And this is some kind of Texas heat treat. Yes? Or a high grade shirt. Sometimes I can't tell. I should probably break a piece off so I don't waste it. That's okay. You never know how it's going to break anyway. Yeah, that looks good. So, it's got a crystal pocket right there. Yes. So what am I going to nap? I don't know. It's like 26 degrees, slowly warming up. It feels like a freezer in here. Let's see. Yeah, Ed asked me earlier if everything was okay. He asked me by email, and yeah, I was just running late. But I'm only gonna nap until 8 o'clock. Yeah. So the live stream will be like a half an hour shorter than usual because I'm half an hour late, or maybe 35 minutes late. I need a bigger bopper. So this one is, it's already messed up. I don't know. I don't know what weight it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Just because I use a certain weight doesn't mean that'll work for you. But it's a solid copper head bopper, so that might make a difference. It's not lead filled. It's a little bit lighter than lead filled. I get these at flintnappingsupplies.com. And I'm liking these. But the boppers are something that I don't really have accuracy with. I've tried many times to develop my accuracy with these, and it's just mediocre at best, even after many, many years of practice. Something with the hand-eye coordination thing. Yeah, Ed asks if I got the auction up. Yeah, it's up. You can just go check. I posted it. Should be working. If you can't see the auction, let me know. I'm pretty sure I made it go public. Man, my hands are cold. It's not warming up very fast. It's 28 now, so that's not too bad. I should get above freezing here in a minute. And then hopefully it'll get up to 40. Gotta put my gaiters on so I don't get a bunch of rock chips inside my boots. I think I already got some. Let's see, 148 people. Yeah, just hold on a second. Don't leave. I'm gonna be napping. I forgot to put my gaiters on so I don't get rock dust and rock chips inside my boots. This is some kind of Texas shirt. If you don't know what flintnapping is, then yeah, you're in the wrong spot. You're in the wrong place. You're on the wrong weird side of YouTube. Go to the other weird side. Yeah, when I said that, I lost 40 people. Let's see. How old does that shirt spark? This sparks pretty good. Yeah. It's very rare that you find chert or flint that does not spark. So that's kind of a easy question to answer. They're all pretty good. The only time I've ever had trouble with chert not sparking is when you heat treat it. It tends to shatter when you hit it with the steel. I have my steel around here somewhere. Let's see. I just never have it available for the video. Yeah. I used to have it available for all my videos, but I never tested out. So I stopped showing it. Hardly anybody asks me. People start asking me when I don't have it available. Yeah. It's funny how that works. Oh, a crystal pocket. Nasty. That didn't show before, right? That was not something that showed before. Yeah, see? It's invisible. Invisible. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Anything could happen. Can you see that sparkly crystal pocket? No? Can't see the sparklies? Never mind. Joel Bradford, today's my birthday. He says today's his birthday. Why do we get lots of birthday people? Join the club. We got lots of birthday people on these live streams. It's funny how that works. if it was my birthday, I wouldn't be on the internet. I'd be out having fun. Right? Internet's not all that fun. Get a bunch of goobers on the internet. Unless your family is worse than that. I can see that maybe your family is worse than people on the internet. So you spend your time on, you spend your birthday on the internet. I don't know. Killer Cork is here. Calcite sparkles, yeah. I don't know if it's calcite. It's more like quartzite. Calcite is like this stuff on the outside. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Ed says, I came across a live at Daryl Hall's place. What's that mean? I don't know who that is. Let's see. Yes, exactly. If it was my birthday, I would be definitely spending time spreading some cheeks. I don't know what that means. I should. Let's see. Killer Cork says the internet sucks unless Crafty's live is on. Well, I'm glad you think so. Yeah. Let's see. The singer. So you were on a live stream. There was a singer. Why didn't you stay over there? Yeah, that's a rare thing, isn't it? Or do they have live streams all the time? If they have live streams all the time, then yeah, come over here. Because you're not going to miss a rare opportunity. If it was a rare opportunity, I wouldn't be here. Because you've already seen the way I flint nap. This is just same old, same old. Everything's the same old, same old. Yeah. Those of you who read backgrounds, are you reading the background? You know what's going on? What has 5 toes but is not your foot? I don't know. I hate to answer that one. I'm afraid to answer these. What's the meaning of goober? Oh, Hall & Notes singer was on a live stream. Yeah, go back over there if he's still on there. Although I was never into Hall & Notes back in the day. Not my kind of music. Yeah, I would go over there. Unless they have a live stream all the time. Oh, dang. Look at that crack. Dang it. See, we still got some quartz, sparkly quartz in there. Right there. Yeah. So I thought this was heat treat, but it's snapping like it's raw. Yeah, it's snapping like nasty raw stuff. Chasing that ace. Hello from Australia. Hello, hello. C9 says, nothing will stop Jesus from, yeah. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to try to thin this down, even though it's a raw piece. Okay. Let's see if we can get somewhere. See if we can smack the daylights out of this. Because that's what it's acting like it needs. It needs a lot of coaxing. Yeah. Did somebody send me something? Hold on, let me check the chat. Hello from Japan, says Ricky. Awesome. That's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to be dropping my phones. Stupid. Dropping the phones. All right, let's see if I can find myself on YouTube. Where am I? There I am. Let's see, what do we got? Ross Wellman's here. See, there's a lot of guys that are old hats and loyal subscribers and members. So I'm going to say hi to those guys. If you're new, I try to check the chat because that's the purpose of the live streams, so I can interact with the chat. Otherwise, I'll just do a regular video. Keith Callahan is here. Danny Moore, Tommy Taylor. I don't recognize some of you guys. What's napping? What am I watching? You're watching someone try to make an arrowhead. Napping is... You should be able to open up a second window wherever you're watching this and then type in, ask questions on Google or whatever. You don't need to ask me. Do you sell them? Yeah, I've got an auction going right now, actually, on my channel. And you bid in the comment section, and I declare winners at 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you don't know what that means, just go, hey, Google, what time is it my time when it's 9 p.m. Eastern? And so you know what time the auction ends your time. Okay? All right. Talking about goobers in the chat. All right, let me go to the end. Mama Bear says, first timer, yay. Awesome. There's a lot of first timers. On these live streams, I looked up the stats. 86% are brand new, never been on. Consistently, they're just like 80 to 90% newbies. Or don't even know what napping is or whatever. How does it change the napping when you heat treat the flint? It makes it easier to nap. Makes it easier to chip. It makes it more glass-like. Telephone calls drive me nuts. I don't give my phone number out and I still get phone calls. Amazing work. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you. Although I don't know what you're talking about because these are templates back there. They're not, those are not stone. These are made of paper back there so I can have templates to go by. Oops. Hi, can you articulate the difference in difficulty in fluting between a Clovis point and a smaller arrowhead? The difference in difficulty is that a Clovis is easier than almost anything else to flute, if you do it the way they used to do it. If it's a small arrowhead, you might have more difficult time doing it because it's harder to hold on to. That's my opinion. Of course, some guys say, no, I know how to flute little bitty Clovises. When I get to a big Clovis, I mess them up. So, you know, the answer, if you ask 5 people that question, you'll get 5 different answers. Yeah. How do I do the many phones thing? That's the infinity thing that happens on the live streams. Yeah, very aggressive napping tonight. I had plenty of caffeine, okay, so I can speed things up. I've been accused of wasting time on these live streams. Yeah. I have a channel with over 2,000 videos. If you want to see videos, normal videos, I've got a bunch. But I do these live streams because it, you know, YouTube rewards me for doing live streams. Yeah. Especially in this vertical format that I hate. I don't like this vertical format. And you guys that have been around my channel for a long time, you know that I hate this vertical stuff. But it allows, well, YouTube shows this type of format to new people, so it allows new people to see my channel. Where before, I was shadow banned, so only people that were subscribers pretty much would get to see my videos when I upload them. it wouldn't, YouTube wouldn't show my videos to new people. You know, it wouldn't recommend them in the feeds. Now it does when I do live streams. And I looked up what these new guys are watching. And it has nothing to do with napping. So I don't know why you guys are here. The new guys. They come from channels that are like cooking channels and stuff. I saw one channel where I guess the guy was searching for minerals. And there's one other channel that they watched, people panning for gold. Stuff like that. So it's not flintnapping. But I guess it's related. And there was one guy that was refurbishing stuff. You know, buying stuff at yard sales and refurbishing stuff. I guess that's somewhat similar to this type of craft, but flintnapping is not like other crafts. It's probabilistic, which means you're taking lots of risks every time you try to make an arrowhead out of a piece of stone. You never know what's going to happen. You never know, because some of these stones are very unpredictable. Using brass, copper, or alloy. This is copper. It's probably a copper alloy, but you buy these on eBay. And you just type in, like for this one, you type in 3/8 inch diameter copper rod. And they sell these in different lengths. The 3/8 is easy to get. I also use 5/16. No, that's not it. I use 5/16 inch copper, but that's more difficult to get on eBay and about 3 times as expensive. But I use this diameter for smaller points. And it is some kind of alloy. I don't think it's pure copper. Right? The alloys are cheaper. I don't know. I don't know. It just works. And if it doesn't work all that great, I still use it. Because you get adapted to your tools. All right. How big of a spall can you heat treat? I recommend no thicker than 1 inch and no larger than, let's say, 10 inches or whatever fits in your kiln. You can have it as long as you want, but no thicker than 1 inch. I recommend 1/2 inch or less for thickness. Yeah. You want even heat treating. Unless you ramp it up very, very slowly. If you get a professional kiln that does it automatically, you can heat thicker stuff. You know, you can heat it up to 4 inches thick if it ramps it up very slowly over a period of 12 hours, let's say. But for normal heat treating, a lot of us use our kitchen ovens or turkey roasters. So I don't recommend anything thicker than 1 inch in that particular setting. But you ask 5 different people that question, and you'll get 5 different answers. Even if they are using turkey roasters or kitchen ovens. People will tell you different things. And let's see. I can't sleep and too tired to nap. So lucky we have Pat to nap for us, says Michaela. Well, good. I am glad that you have someone that you can tune into when you're too tired to nap. Yeah. That's cool. Danny Collins. Was it Danny? Or was it Jake? I don't know. Somebody contacted me and he asked me what my schedule was because he did not want to do the live streams at the same time I did mine, just so he wouldn't have conflicts. So that was cool. All right. So you look around, there's other nappers that do live streams at different times, and we're trying not to conflict with each other. So you should be able to have at least someone napping every day on live streams. Let's see. I live stream 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Let's see. Dane Harrison. For me, it's 23:56. It's almost midnight. Dang, you're over in Europe somewhere. You're in the UK probably. Someone says, "Looks good, dude. You've been watching for 15 minutes and you like it? Awesome." Let's just hope I don't break it, because that does happen. Yeah. It's not high quality stuff. So I could end up breaking it. Yeah. I'm trying to get it thin. But you see how it's all kind of crunchy because it's not a high grade piece of rock. Yeah. Looks like I've got to grind it down a lot. Yeah. And hit the stone really hard to get these flakes to travel. Let's see. It almost did it. It's not doing it. Yeah, I need to. It is raw chert. I thought this was going to be a heat treat, but no. Not lucky. I got this from a friend of mine. That's why I'm not sure what it is. When I collect it myself and heat treat it myself, it's a lot more predictable. Yeah. If you're wondering, well, how he's napping it, but he doesn't know anything about it? Yeah, because I got it from a friend of mine. Yeah. Us nappers, we give stones to each other to try out. Yeah. This is part of a challenge, I guess. But I forgot. Well, he doesn't watch the live streams. And I don't sit there and notify people that I'm going to be on a live stream ahead of time. I just post my schedule and hopefully they'll tune in at the right time. I could type in an email and say, "Hey dude, I'm napping the stone you gave me to see if it would nap." I don't sit there and try to remember who gave it to me and tell them. I'm just hoping they'll tune in on their own. Let's see. Hey, Marty's here. Hello, hello. Buckskin NYB is Marty. Yeah, hit the like button, or you tap the screen twice. You don't need to hit the like button anymore. You can tap the screen twice. Yeah. Yep. Unless you don't like to do that. I think some people don't like hitting the like button. Yeah. Yes. They don't like the like button. They don't like it. I don't like the like button because sometimes I don't like it and I forget to unlike. Yeah, okay. I'll cut you some slack because, yeah, sometimes I forget to unlike if I end up not liking it. So, yeah, that's okay. It doesn't matter, actually. What matters is that I think comments actually count more than the like button. Yeah. I've gotten lots of likes on my videos before, but I was still shadow banned. My percentage of likes to dislikes is very high, but I was shadow banned until I started doing live streams. And then YouTube would show me to a new audience. Yeah. So if you don't like hitting the like button, don't worry about it. No worries. You can just tap the screen twice. In case you didn't know. Some people don't know that. Or they do it by accident and then they get all worried. What if I like it and then YouTube finds out what I like and then sends me ads? Yeah. I don't know, maybe they do. Maybe they track what you like and they send you ads. Or they start to get all creepy about it and start stalking you. Maybe the like button turns YouTube into a stalker. Yeah. You never know. So what am I going to make out of this? I don't know. It's really, really tough. So I don't feel like making something specific out of it. But I might. 116 likes now. Dang it. Are you using granite to do the side of the stone? No, this is a part of a grinding wheel for a bench grinder, a large bench grinder. This is an industrial type. Very expensive, but you break it into pieces and you can use it as an abrader. What we call abraders in the knapping community. But if you want something cheap, you go to Harbor Freight or Walmart and buy these little 6-inch grinding wheels and break them up. See, this is the original hole in the center of the 6-inch grinding wheel. This is from Harbor Freight. The Harbor Freight has white ones like this. This is a medium grit. This is a very coarse grit. But you can buy these at Walmart. I think they're like 14 bucks now. But it's cheaper than going online and buying the knapping tools. I just buy the grinding wheels, or I just got a gift also. Someone sent me 4 grinding wheels. I think it was Dwayne. And yeah. Sometimes I get lucky and people send them to me for free. It's a cheap alternative than to buy the fancy ones online for the Flintnappers. This is Texas chert, but it's not Paternalis chert. This is Edwards Plateau. Just regular nasty Edwards Plateau gray chert that has defects and crystal pockets. See that crystal pocket right there? It had them all over the place. Now you might say, dude, that's snapping really good. That must be really good chert or a good flint. No, I've been doing this for years. This is not good stuff. And if it looks easy, it's not. I've been accused of making it look too easy. And then people start napping and they go, wait a second, I thought I was going to nap really good. Yeah, it naps really good if you have experience. Yeah, it's not like one of those short videos where the guy's looking at one of those life hacks, like how to easily clean a cast iron pan or something. They go, no way, you just soak it in vinegar? That's it? And you go do it, and you soak the thing in vinegar for 3 days and take it out, and everything comes off? That's not what this is. You can't just learn this in 3 days or get results right away like you can on some of those other videos where you see these little life hacks. This takes years to develop. It's harder to do this than to do video games. Yeah. Or those little life hacks. This takes years. Okay? And even after spending years, some people just give up because it starts getting expensive. They get shoulder injuries. They poke themselves in the eye with flakes. They cut themselves a lot. Sometimes people have accidents. They drop big rocks on their toes. And they go, this is not for me, dude. And they give up. Yeah. So it has some risks associated with it. And some people get into this so they can go hunting with rock points, with stone arrowheads. Go hunting with stone arrowheads. And they find out after years of trying to do it that they're just going to go back to regular steel broadheads because they can't get arrowheads made. And it's too expensive to buy them. And might as well just go back to using steel broadheads. It's too much trouble. Yeah. Yep. So what am I going to do? I can start making something out of this now as far as the shape. I can start shaping it into something that actually existed back in the day. Yeah. I mean, this kind of shape existed back in the day. You can use it just like this. If you sharpen it up, you can use it as a knife. But there are specific types of points that can be made. There's a book that has them all, and I've got templates back there. I can use one of those templates and put it over here and, you know, trace it out or do something to mark where I'm going to put notches and stuff. What's the ratio on this one? Someone's guessing 7-to-1. That's a pretty good guess. Let me see. I'm going to do this in millimeters, okay? I measure across the widest part, you know, the widest part, and then right where it's the widest, I measure the thickness. So I get the width, the thickness ratio, and I do it in millimeters because it's easier to divide it. So that's 45 millimeters. And the thickness is, what's that, 8? Seven millimeters thick. 7. So it's between 6 and 7-to-1. So yeah, you're very close. Yep. So yeah, very close. I can get it down to 7-to-1 probably with a little more flaking. But this is low grade chert. It's not that great. So if I try to thin it a little bit more, I might snap it in half because I have to hit it way too hard to get a flake to remove. I can still try it, I guess. If I get 6-to-1 with the thickness ratio, I'm doing good. Most artifacts are between 4-to-1 to 6-to-1 ratio. Most of them. Some of them get very, very thin, but in the vast majority, it's like 4-to-1 to 6-to-1. And if you don't believe me, just measure them. Start measuring all your artifacts. Yeah, there's guys that have hundreds and hundreds of artifacts. They need to start measuring the width and thickness ratios on them and tell us what they are. Share the information so we all know, because inquiring minds want to know. Yes, we do. All right, so it is working, but I got to be careful that I don't get it too thin. Yikes. I got to hit it way too hard. Let's see. Okay, that did do it. So it's probably 6-to-1 now with this flake. Easily 6-to-1, maybe 7-to-1 ratio with the thickness ratio. Now the important thing is if it fits in the haft, then you're good to go. So you get your pre-made knife handle or whatever, and you put it in there. If it fits, that's all you need. Why pre-made? They have found pre-made foreshafts in dry caves and stuff. In the archaeological record, you can see them. They pre-made these, and then they fit the points into these things. Now this is like a it's an little dart point foreshaft, but it could also be for a spear because this is pretty thick. But it could also be a knife. It could double as a spear point and a knife handle. spear point foreshaft or a knife handle. Now, the reason why it's got a shoulder here is because when you wrap it, I like the wrapping to be even with the rest of the foreshaft. So I put a shoulder for the wrapping. Now, I did this one the other day, and I wrapped it to show how it looks. Now, this is cotton cordage. They normally would use sinew, okay, but just to do it quickly, I used cotton cordage. And I wrapped up on the blade, just to show that some of these are wrapped up on the blade, not just around the stem, okay? And the foreshaft, see, this is thinner, but if you don't know what that is, these are foreshafts. And the point is not just the stone point, it's the foreshaft as well. So this is the point on a projectile. It's the stone and the wood together. That is the point. And that's what you weigh, or that's what matters in weight up in the front of your projectile. The two combined. But archaeologists aren't going to tell you that because they don't actually use this stuff. Okay? Let's see if it'll fit. I've got several of these made. I've got several foreshafts made. Where's my other one? Oh yeah, the other one is actually used for this one. Anyway, let's see if this thing I'm making actually fits in one of these other ones. Yeah, it fits in this one kind of. It's still kind of thick, so I should thin this down some more. See how it's thick right there? It doesn't fit into this foreshaft. But I don't just make foreshafts out of the blue. These match, maybe not this one. But the dimensions on these match actual artifacts. Okay? The diameters on these match actual artifacts. Okay? All right. So let me thin this down a little bit. Let me thin this base. And then I'll put some notches in it. Someone says, when I was a caveman, I made arrowheads out of bone. Yeah, bone was very common. Pop quiz, what was the most common material for arrowheads back in the day? Or for projectile points? What was the most common material for projectile points back in the day? In the caveman days? Pop quiz. Got your answers? Yep, you're right. It was wood. Wood was the most common projectile point material. Who got it right? Nobody got it right because archaeologists aren't telling you that wood was the most common. Imagine that. Everyone, it's more exciting to tell you that it was stone, but that's not true. The most common projectile point material was wood. And then bone. And then stone. Stone was the least common projectile point material. Oh, yes. All right, so here we go. I think we're achieving some thinness. Yeah, if I go too thin, it starts to do that. It's called step fracturing. People start getting sick to their stomach when they see that. Not on artifacts, but on modern made stuff. On artifact, if they see this stuff, it's beautiful, but if on the modern made point, they start to throw up. If they see it on a modern made point. Okay, so don't look at this. Or just pretend it's a real one. Yeah. I'm going to try to pick that out. Let's see if I can pick that out. So it doesn't look sickening. Yeah. Come on. Does it do it? Yeah, it did it. At least on that side it did it. See? Yeah, and it's thin. It'll fit in these foreshafts. I got two little dark foreshafts. It might even fit in the smaller one. It's still too thick for that, but it'll fit into this other one. Yeah. So let's put a stem on it, because yeah, that's what we like to do in this on this channel. So we're going to switch over to pressure flaking, which means we're going to clean up. Yeah, my regular viewers, they know that I divide this thing into stages. I clean up between stages, or I try to, because it's a whole different mindset now that I'm going to put notches in it. I'd rather have a nice cleaned out area. And yeah, I can still use some of these for arrowheads. You know, some of these flakes are big enough for arrowheads, little bitty ones, but some of these are still good if they don't have junk in them. Maybe, I don't know. These are all what I call crud flakes. They're not that useful. Yeah. What is this? Piece of sinew? All right, so let me put some notches in. So I'm going to try to match this one. So what I do is, if I'm smart, I will mark the width of the foreshaft on the stone, so that the stem, or at least the notches, will go in as far as that, and so it'll match the width of the wood. Yeah, that's the objective. Because back in the day, they would make these ahead of time, and then they would mark their stone, or they would just kind of judge it by, you know, keep fitting that in there, and that's how they would determine the depth of the notches or the width of the stem or whatever. In case you didn't know. In case you didn't know, how did they get them all consistent? They had these made ahead of time. Yeah, pro tip. All right. Let's see what we can do. I'm just going to notch it. Yeah. So this is a 1/4 inch steel weldable rod. Weldable. You can buy these at Home Depot or Lowe's. The steel part. This is just a normal wood stick. Kind of, I guess it's an inch. No. What is the... you don't need to know the diameter on that. You just use your imagination. Yeah. Anyways, let's do the notches, and let's not make it too complicated. And we don't need no stinking complicated notches. I hit a thick spot. All right. Here we go. It's going to require some extra effort to get those crunched in there. I call this a spatula tool. You can call it a notching tool or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as it works. And you can use steel, you can use copper, you can use brass, you can use all kinds of stuff. You don't have to use just one type of material for your notching tools. And you ask 5 different people which material is the best for notching tools, you'll get 5 different answers. Okay, so there's no best. Although copper is probably the most versatile, it'll knap almost anything as far as materials go. Copper will knap a bunch of different types of materials pretty easily, relatively speaking. Nothing in knapping is easy, but copper definitely makes it less of a burden on your life. Yeah. If you don't want to be burdened in your life, you just use copper. All right, so I started the notches. I'm going to switch over to something called a Notchomatic. It is a spring-loaded punch. And I sharpened it so I can do notching with it. It's good for notching with a spatula tip, like if it's shaped like this. But it was shaped like this before, but I sharpened it to do more narrow notching. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to do narrow notching. I'm just going to use it because this is very tough material, and this notching tool makes it much easier. I don't have to be straining myself. I just pull this back a little bit, and there it goes. It makes it so much easier. And you can get these from Ted Snyder. Oops. Ted Snyder. T-E-D, Ted Snyder, S-N-I-D-E-R. And I think he has a YouTube channel. Well, in fact, I know he does. And I think you can type in Nachomatic Flintnapping and find the channel. Okay? I can't find it. I looked for 2 seconds. I can't find it. Ask me in the chat after the live stream's over, and I'll give you the link. No, give me the link now because I'll forget. I can't remember anything. As soon as I leave the chat, my brain goes back to nothing. If that's you, then you should not go into Flintnapping. No. Stick to video games. Yeah, that's about it. You'll probably have success with video games, not with napping. Okay? Because video games, if one is too difficult for you or whatever, you don't like it, you just buy a different video game. Yeah, until you get one that you can actually do. Easy peasy. Flintnapping is going to be hard. Yes, it's a hard thing to do. And I'm not bragging because for some reason it's also addictive. So I'm addicted to it. Yeah. All right, so what am I doing? Yeah, I can't see it and you can't see it. And that's the way this punch works. You just have to guess. And hopefully you're holding it in the right spot. But it's better and easier as far as fatigue goes compared to the notching technique I was using with this. This is very difficult and hard material. Come on. See, even the Nachomatic is not doing it. It shows you how tough this stuff is, and I'm notching right into a crystal pocket, so it's still pretty bad. Let's see. Bushy says, when will someone invent a video game where you do Flintnapping? Yeah, the name for this tool is the Nachomatic. Let me see. Nachomatic. Nachomatic. I call it Nacho for short. Right? I call it Nacho for short. Now, the guy that invented this Nachomatic is Ted Snyder. He invented it. He makes them and sells them. I think they're $20 each. Okay? All right. Good question, by the way. Let's see. And someone's going to ask that question again in 5 minutes, so just let them know. They're going to jump into this and go, hey, what is that? Just someone else tell them. Oh, you're welcome. He says, thank you very much. You're very welcome. I'm glad you said thank you because not everyone says thank you. They go, wait a second. Wait a second. Is that legit? You're not rickrolling me. If I go look for Ted Snyder, I'm not gonna get rickrolled, am I? No, you'll be able to find it. Yeah. I wouldn't do that to you. Send you on a wild goose chase. Oh, and by the way, the pads are made by Mike Tufts, and I think Mike is in the chat. Okay, I don't make these. Yeah, Mike Tufts makes these pads. I make my own pads sometimes, but I got lazy because he gave these to me. Yeah. The nacho is not working, so I'm gonna try the regular spatula tool. See, I got to get to that mark, and it's not working. Nothing is working. Did I? No. I don't know. Did I break this? No. See, how do I get past this? Because what that's called is a stall. It's stalled. It means it's not going anywhere. Let's see if I can get it started here. Borrow from the side a little bit. There it goes. There it is. I knew it could do it. I gotta remark it though, because the mark came off with the flake. Oh no. Okay, here it is. Or I can just keep fitting it there and see if it works. But yeah, I unstalled it just then. Can you see? Or does it get blurry every time I use this? Sometimes I use a tool and the camera will not focus. It'll just get blurry every time I use the tool. And people are going, hey, I can't see what's going on. It's blurry every time. Blurry. All right, so let's do the other side also. Okay? Let's not get too carried away on that one side. The other side's feeling a little bit lonely. Yeah. You didn't know that rocks would get lonely? Or at least the sides do. They go, hey, what about me? Do me so that I can mess you up. Yeah. The other side a lot of times will mess up. What is that tool? Hey, Mustache Fabio. We just told the last guy like 2 minutes ago. And then Dwayne says, what is that tool? Somebody tell him. I don't want to be saying what the tool is every 5 seconds. It's called a Nacho-Matic by Ted Snyder. Nacho-Matic by Ted Snyder. And someone else comes into the chat in 2 minutes and asks the same thing. Someone tell them. Or I'll be sitting here all day instead of napping. I'll be telling them what that tool is through the whole live stream. Because we got hundreds of people that just show up all of a sudden. All right? And I'm still amazed that people don't know what the Nacho-Matic is. Yeah, I'm still amazed. And I'm still amazed that people are brand new to my channel when I've been doing this for, I don't know, since 2011. And I've got over 2,000 videos and they still don't know about my channel. They've been living under rocks. Yeah. But yeah, most of you guys are new. The new guys are completely new. And they don't even know what flintnapping is in many cases. So, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just trying to be humorous, okay? It's a joke. So, I'm doing this kind of fast because I don't want to be wasting time. I'm trying to look at the chat at the same time. Let's see. I love to watch the one with your different glasses. What is that? What else are we going on in the chat? What are you guys talking about? Let's look to see. Where am I in the chat? I missed a bunch of stuff. Whoops. Come on. Yomo says, you know you can make poison spearhead? No. I don't know I can do that. Let's see. HO says, could be in a pinned comment if it gets too bothersome. No, I just do this. I write it down. That's why I've got this whiteboard. Nacho-matic, Ted Snyder. And I put this out here like this. But a lot of people I've noticed, they're background experts. Like a lot of the YouTuber guys are background jockeys, is what I call. They look at the background instead of looking at what's going on in the main part of the video. But the background jockeys, for some reason, if I put stuff in the background, they go, I don't want to look at that. So I don't know what's going on. If you put stuff in the background, the jockeys don't look at it. When you don't put it in the background, they ask tons of questions. Let's see. Where you work on the different types of glass material? I don't work on different kinds of glass material. I work on obsidian. I says, first time I've ever came across your channel. Huge artifact hunter from Tennessee. Glad I came across this. Oh, awesome. Background is important. It's better without. I don't know. Bowman's Knappings. The legend Jack. It's Kirk from the UK. Good to see you again, buddy. Good to see you too. Was that for sticks? Yeah, it's for sticks. I got a stick here. This is called a foreshaft. It's for this kind of stick. Yeah, you put it on the foreshaft first, and then you stick the stick into another stick. This stick sticks into another stick, or a piece of cane, right? I still haven't notched it deep enough to haft it. And the notches still need to go in a little bit further, because they need to be the same width as the wood in the ideal situation. Hey, Aussie Flintnapping. Hey, Patrick, you ever tried using aluminum for indirect? Yes, I have about 2 years of aluminum videos on my channel where I used aluminum for about 2 years. Yep, I sure do. And you missed it. Yeah, you missed 2 years of napping. I don't know exactly how far ago that was or how long ago that was. Yeah, you just have to do Jack Crafty aluminum. Just type in Jack Crafty aluminum. I think it'll come up. Hey, Tanya Ruse. Hello from Sweden. Do you get any kind of hard skin buildup? Yeah, I got calluses on this, especially on this finger right here. But otherwise, because I wear gloves and stuff, I don't get calluses. But I get them here from my pressure flaking. And this is a vertical spring-loaded mechanical punch. It's called a Nacho-matic. I call it Nacho for short. The guys who have been subscribed to my channel for a while, they know this as Nacho. Yeah. Anyways, I'm trying to do it with Nacho because this is not good quality stone. And this makes it much easier. The only thing is I have to really use a lot of power to drive these flakes, and sometimes if I use too much power, it breaks off one of the ears instead of driving the notch. And this also gets mushroomed. See that? So that stops the effectiveness also. Let's go back to the regular notching tool and see if that works, because the Notch-O-Matic is getting kind of dicey, because as this neck gets more narrow, the vertical punch can break this really easy. But if you crunch it in, it has less chance of breaking it. Okay? All right. So I'm going to try to crunch these in further. Man, that's hard. Yeah. I'm going to expand them out a little bit, see if that helps. Hold on while I try to drive these notches deeper. I might not be able to. That might be it. Let's see. It's not working. Now, sometimes you can expand the notches and it'll work, but we'll see. You know, expand them in width. Most people don't want to expand the width because they want narrow notches, just like some of the fancy artifacts. They want to be all fancy. I hit the side right there by accident. Let's see. Yeah, they want to be all fancy and do narrow notches. That takes a lot of practice and time and effort and the right tools. Or, you know, better tools than I'm using. I'm just using simple, easy peasy stuff. Easy to make. This is a homemade tool. You can get these long Ishii sticks, professional Ishii sticks, that allow you to get a lot more leverage. It's not going to do it. Or did it? No, I'm just stalling it so it's not going anywhere. We'll just leave it. Yeah, we'll just call it good. Let me just do the other side to make it look the same. All right. We'll just work on the symmetry now. I could try to uninstall that, but I don't know. Well, let's try it one more time. And that was kind of crunchy. Yeah, it's not going to do it. Now, is it possible to keep going? Yeah, I could get the file and file that and then keep going. You want to do that? What's a file? Get one of these diamond files sets at Harbor Freight. They come in a set of 6 or 8 or whatever, and they're diamond files. And you can actually file it so it gets thinner at the bottom of the notch. And then try it again. See if it'll go deeper. Okay? See how it's working? You can actually file stone with these diamond files. Yeah. Let's see, what do we got? What do we got in the chat? We got a lot of chat. I can't keep up with it, so let me just see if I can file it and then use a Notch-O-Matic again on this and see if it can go a little bit deeper. So this is the last resort, right? And you can do this with another stone. It just takes forever. Like you can get a flake, and you can do the same thing with stone, and then try to do use antler or something to punch it. But it takes forever, and they back in the day they probably didn't do that. I don't see any evidence of grinding back in the day like this. But they might have, because they did some really almost impossible looking notches in some cases. I don't see any reason why they didn't have some way of getting these notches started again. They must have figured out something. Because stalled notches are pretty common. So let me remove the mushroom off the top of this tip. So we get a nice clean metal surface for this next attempt to keep driving these notches. Yeah. That's not going to work. Yeah, it worked. So I filed it to make it thinner, and then I put the Notch-O-Matic on top of where I filed it, and it was able to punch out a little bit of material. Now, is it going to keep going? I don't know. So I'm going to flip it over and see if I can remove a flake from the other side. I don't know. It might or might not work. It might be still too thick. Yeah, it might still be too thick. I don't know. I'm going to try it anyway. Yeah, it didn't pop out a second flake. Let's see. It gets risky because I had to pull it back a lot. And if I pull it back too far, it could break the whole thing. Well, a little bit. I got a little bit. I'm attacking the weak areas inside the bottom of the notch. It's still not going to do it. Let's see if I can crunch them out. See if I can crunch it out a little bit further. Well, I got something now. It looks a little bit more symmetrical now. I'll just stop there. Yeah. I don't want to get too greedy. Let's finish it out. Make it look nice. Okay. I'm going to sharpen it and do a lot of work around the edges. Okay. So for that, I'm going to get out the pressure flaker. Although I can also use indirect percussion to work on the edges. I'm just going to get a pressure flaker to do it. Just a oak dowel, 1-inch diameter with a piece of copper stuck in there. It doesn't matter what the copper is. You'll adjust to it no matter what. You don't need to know exactly what I'm using. So see, just do a series of flakes, make it nice. And then you do grinding. So you can make another series of flakes on the other side. If you don't grind it, the edge will just crush. And you won't be able to push on the edge and remove flakes. Yeah. And someone asked earlier about aluminum. Before I started using aluminum, people were saying aluminum doesn't work. So that's why I started using aluminum, because they said it's not going to work. And now a lot of people use aluminum. Yeah. Just so you know. Okay? I don't need to know that, dude. That's ancient history. Okay, it's ancient history, but I still like it. I like history. If you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. You're doomed to repeat the same old. Aluminum doesn't work. See, if you don't know history, you're going to say that. It's been proven that aluminum works. I proved it on my channel. Okay? So what am I doing? I'm making it look nice. Okay? I'm trying to make it look nice. Make it look like a real arrowhead. Almost. It's going to look more modern than a real arrowhead because a modern napper is not supposed to have any step fractures in his work. Yeah. Step fractures are only for artifacts. It makes the artifacts look beautiful, but not in modern stuff. It makes modern stuff look absolutely horrible. Yeah. Somebody says you don't grind that. What are we doing in the chat? Oh yeah, I need to put some Christmas stuff in the background. I looked for some Christmas stuff and I couldn't find it. I looked at the discount store and they had bought all the Christmas stuff that was any good. Anyway, someone says bottle bottoms. Cade says, you don't think my parents will let me spend money on a piece of copper? They don't like me doing it, but shake my head or whatever. But shh, I don't know. Dovetail? I don't know if this is a dovetail. I mean, I guess you could call it that. Yeah. It says, I thought arrowheads were made by Native Americans. Yes, they were. Let's see. Okay, people are talking to each other. Why am I looking at the chat? Because that's the purpose of live streams, so I can interact with the audience. Okay? Don't bug me. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's questions, okay? If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, so yeah, not too many questions. I don't think I missed. Yeah, okay, good. Someone doesn't know what indirect percussion is. Let me show you what indirect percussion is. I'm going to use these rods here. In case you just joined us and you don't know what that means, I'm going to shape the edge. Instead of using pressure, I'm going to use the indirect percussion stick. Because some people don't understand, or they're new to this. All right, so here we go. I'm going to trim with indirect percussion instead of the pressure flaker. You can use either one. You don't have to use a pressure flaker. You can remove large flakes or small flakes with indirect percussion. And sometimes it works better for trimming these little ones. You know, using small indirect percussion flakes to trim the edges. Because you might have joint pain when you use a regular pressure flaker. But the problem is that happens sometimes. The indirect percussion is very powerful, so sometimes it removes too much from the edge. Yeah. Unfortunately. But what's the solution to removing too much off of that side? Just remove some off to the other side and you get symmetry. And it looks beautiful again. Yeah. That's the secret. Symmetry. Symmetry is the secret. So I'm going to finish removing some trimming flakes, what I call trimming flakes, and get some symmetry going, and then I'll sharpen it with the pressure flaker. Yeah. This does sharpen it a little bit, and you can get a sharp edge enough to cut meat with this technique here, but pressure gives you a much cleaner, more efficient edge. Yeah, this is kind of jaggedy. Pressure flaking gives you a cleaner edge, like I said. All right. Although you can get really persnickety with this technique. You don't have to take big flakes off. You can just hit little flakes off the edge. Like right here, like what I'm doing right now. Just little bitty flakes to shape it. And you can also sharpen with the indirect percussion. You just have to be very careful that you don't take too much off. Because it's like trying to carve wood with a chainsaw. It's a very powerful technique, and you don't want to overdo it. When people ask me, should I use indirect percussion? What's it like to use it? And I tell them it's like carving wood with a chainsaw. It's not that easy. I mean, it looks like it takes off a lot of stuff easily, but controlling that amount of power is not that easy. Okay, let's start sharpening. Grind it one more time, and we'll sharpen it. And then we can move on to the next one. Or I've only got like, let's see, what time is it? I've only got like 5 more minutes left in the live stream. All right, so here we go. Let's see. I'll just take as long as it takes to get it made. Where is the other pressure flaker? I have a nice pressure flaker. Here it is. See, I got a nice one. I don't have to use the homemade one. I was gifted this one. It has a set screw and a nice hard plastic handle, and the diameter of the piece of copper is 5/64. That's the drill bit size, in case I want to make another one like this. I know the drill bit size. That also helps me find new pieces of copper for that. All right, so I'm going to sharpen this, but I'm going to do a bevel, which means I'm only going to take flakes off of one side for the most part. Okay. If I see an opportunity to take flakes from the other side, I will. But for the most part, I just need to take flakes off of one side. Dang it. See how it bit? That's a bite. That's not a good thing. All right. It's tough until it gets delicate. That bite means it was delicate in that spot. I don't understand it. It's not supposed to be delicate. I'm going to have to do another pass. Because that bite, where that bite is, it's dull. So let me just go down the edge one time first to do the bevel. See where we are. And if it's okay, I'll just leave it with one pass. But if it needs another pass, I'll regrind it and do another pass. And when I go down the edge, it's a lot of inward pressure here, and then not so much inward here, and then it's almost completely downward pressure near the tip. Okay? So you get a series of flakes, and it starts to get a bevel. Okay, so you flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. The bevel is the easiest way to put an edge on it. A sharp edge. Yeah. Okay. And get these flakes closer together. You're going to have a sawtooth kind of effect, but it's still pretty sharp. It's not razor sharp unless you zoom in a lot. Like if you zoom in, some of these edges are very, very sharp, like a razor, but overall it's jaggedy like a saw blade. So just go down the edge and remove flakes where you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Unless you want to try to sell these, then yeah, it's got to be perfect. It's got to look modern. I've tried making them look like artifacts, but people don't want to buy the stuff that looks all wonky, like an artifact. All right, so I did a pass on this side. See how it looks different from that side? But you flip it over and I did a pass on that side. And the more times you do the passes, the more beveled it gets. I can take some off the other side just to make it more even. So it looks nice and straight. You know what I mean? See that? I'll take off some of that stuff sticking out. And it's just downward pressure. The inward pressure is where the bevel is. You want longer flakes on the bevel side. You want short flakes on the other side. All right, so this is the bevel side. And this is not the bevel side. This is where you can take off little bitty flakes just to make it even. When you make it nice and even, it'll cut better. Yeah. If it's all kind of jaggedy and wonky, there's more drag. It doesn't cut as smoothly. You don't want drag on these edges. Okay. Let me sharpen these barbs up. Hold on. Why do I sharpen the barbs up? I don't know. I just like them sharp. On the artifacts, sometimes they're sharp, sometimes they're not. It depends on the type of point you want to make. Okay, so make it nice and even. Should I do another pass? The more passes that you do on these bevel sides, the steeper the bevel gets and the more pronounced. Okay? And of course it gets more narrow, but you've seen artifacts with narrowness and it starts to develop a slight twist, or it looks like a slight twist. If you do this, you can see that a lot more is taken off of one side. Like this is the side that I've been working on. On artifacts, when they get real narrow, you can see that they take a lot off on this side, and it starts to go downward. And the same thing happens on that side, but it's in the opposite direction, so it looks like it's going to be twisted. It starts to take on a twist. the more you bevel it. But they start out in what they call a pristine condition, right? But then the more you bevel, the more twist. So this is just the first pass on both sides. Okay? It's sharp. That'll cut meat. And it'll fit into the haft. Okay? And you put glue and wrapping and all that kind of stuff. And it won't look like this, because on this particular piece, you don't put anything up on the blade itself. Okay? On this one you do, because it's more narrow. But this one has a nice stem on it and very wide barbs. It doesn't have drooping barbs like this one does. So the wrapping only goes down here. Of course, down on this too, but you know what I mean? These notches are big enough to hold a lot of wrapping in there. And you go up over the top of the wood so that the transition is smooth. Okay, you want that transition between the wood and the stone to be smooth. So you put glue and wrapping over that. Okay, and the glue helps to keep it firm in there. It's not really to hold it in place, because the old glues, they snap and crack when it hits. The glues don't hold it in, it snaps. What holds the point in after it hits is the wrapping. Okay? Now you can see some artifacts have nothing but glue, and those are going to snap and come off inside the wound in many cases. Maybe not all cases, but in most cases, especially in cold weather, the old glues get very brittle. Anyway, I don't have anything to wrap this to show you, but that's what it would look like. Just imagine having a wrap. And it's important to have the depth of the notches very similar to the width of the wood, if not the same. It should be the depth of the notches and the neck width should be the same as the width of the wood, or maybe just a little bit wider, but not more narrow. The neck cannot be more narrow than the width of the wood, because then it doesn't hold as well. Okay? What is the final measurement? Let's see. Let's see, 3 15/16 by inch and 5/8. The ratio, width to thickness ratio, 40 millimeters divided by, what is that, 6? So it's like almost 7 to 1 width to thickness ratio. So it's pretty thin. Yeah. 6 to 1 is good. 7 to 1 is, thinner, and it slices better if you use it for a knife. For a projectile point, it can be thick. I could put a base notch in there, but it doesn't need it. Or I can flatten the base. Some people might think that's a dovetail looking thing. This is a pretty common style back in the day. All right, so that's it. I'm going to end the live stream, guys. Okay, I haven't checked the auction or anything, so I need to do that. I was late today, so I'm sorry. The live stream was only an hour and a half instead of 2 hours. I want to find it, not buy it. Can you help me with an area to look? I don't know. People usually don't reveal the areas where they find their arrowheads, because then they won't be able to find any if you find them. Let's see. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to say good night. I'm looking for questions to see if I missed a question. Felix says, do you make these for the enjoyment or decoration, or do you use them as well? I use, yeah, everything, but mostly for selling. But I do enjoy them sometimes. I do enjoy them sometimes. And I do keep some and I do use some. But mostly 90% are for sale. Let's see. Where can I find good stone to do this? Blindwood asks. You're just gonna have to buy it or go to a Knapping. If you try looking for it on your own, you're not going to be able to find it, especially if you're new. You'll be there all day. Even if I tell you exactly where to find it, you'll be looking all day long, and you may not pick up the good stones. You don't know what to pick up. You don't know what's good and what's bad, but then you end up maybe loading up your truck with 6,000 pounds, or your trailer with 6,000 pounds of rocks, and only 500 pounds of it is any good. So you go to a Knapping or buy the stone online. And the best place to find stone online is on Facebook. Believe it or not. Let's see. Some people are lucky they live right next to good stone, but that's like 1 out of 1,000. The best bet if you want to start is to knap glass or floor tile or porcelain. All right. There's other things. You can knap quartz crystal or obsidian that you can buy at a rock shop. Sometimes you can find slabs of agate that you can heat treat, but you're going to need to heat treat those at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know if your turkey roaster goes up to that heat. You can also heat treat in a barbecue pit. Yeah, but you got to make sure the temperature stays steady and you got a good temperature gauge. Yeah, you can heat treat in a barbecue grill or a barbecue pit as long as the heat stays steady. You can't be opening and closing the lid all the time because you'll crack your stones. But I've seen guys on YouTube heat treat their stones in their barbecue pits. And they're using charcoal or wood pellets so they can have very consistent heat. Okay. Hey, user says I'm back. Yeah, well, I'm ending the live stream. It's over. I'm just trying to see if there's questions. Jared says hello. Hello, hello. 6,000 pounds of granite. Yeah. It's 7:07 p.m. Yeah. Your time. It's Eastern time for me, and I'm going to close out the auction at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to bid in the auction on my channel, you got 1 hour left. A little bit less. Ozzy says, you ever told the story of how you got into flint napping and the first point you napped? No, because I don't remember. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was at my sister's house and I napped some of her landscape gravel. But I can't be positive. And the first tools that I used were pliers and a screwdriver. Yeah. I do remember that part. I just don't know where was the first place that I napped my first arrowhead. But my first tools for napping were pliers and a screwdriver. And yes, you can flint knap jasper. Someone asked the question. Okay, is that it? Ross Wellman says, thanks, Patrick, for the live feed. Good night. Yep, good night, everybody. Good night, good night. What is the measurement of your this? This is a UHMW plastic, right? Ultra high molecular weight plastic. 1 1/4 inch diameter. It's 9 inches long and weighs 6 ounces. And you buy this on eBay. It comes in 3-foot lengths, usually, and you can cut it down. It's not that expensive. It's like $30. I think, including shipping for a 3-foot piece. I think last time I bought some of this. But yeah, 1 1/4 inch diameter, ultra high molecular weight plastic. You can buy white or black. Okay, all right. I think that's it. All right, we'll see you guys next time. The next live stream is on Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in Vermont, so I'm on Eastern time. Okay, see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.